Hi, my name is Hulia. I'm 15 years old, and you're about to hear a story that irrevocably altered my life. After my parents passed away, I was forcibly taken to an orphanage. I despised everything about it, and even more, I found the nuns eerily unsettling. On my first day, I wore a scowl, and every attempt by the nuns to comfort me only intensified my irritation. I couldn't help but fixate on the head nun, an elderly woman whose presence sent chills down my spine. She appeared disturbingly sinister, and I resolved to avoid her at all costs. That night, I sat on my bed, tears streaming down my cheeks as I mourned my parents and reminisced about their love. Death had cruelly stolen them away. In the dim room, I noticed a girl with a sorrowful expression. Her face was pale, her eyes hollow. I decided to speak to her and see if I could offer any solace. I introduced myself, and to my surprise, we ended up exchanging a few of our hidden truths. For the first time, I felt a glimmer of happiness within the orphanage walls. Amidst all this, one particular nun stood out, young and breathtakingly beautiful. Her allure was almost criminal. She possessed flawless skin and sultry red lips. I often thought she was far too exquisite to be a nun. Despite her charm, she was genuinely kind to all the orphans. I couldn't deny it, I admired her deeply. The next night, I was startled awake by a strange noise. I looked around and noticed everyone else was asleep. I tiptoed to the door and peeked through the keyhole. To my horror, I saw the eerie head nun leading a young boy toward a small, secluded room. I observed silently, heart racing. Minutes later, she emerged, alone. A deep sense of dread settled over me. I had always sensed something was off about her. The next day, I searched the entire orphanage for the boy, but he was nowhere to be found. I tried to dismiss it, to mind my own business. But everything changed when Lola, the friend I'd made, also disappeared. I tried to report it to the nuns, but none of them seemed concerned. Other girls whispered to me that children frequently vanished from the orphanage and no one ever questioned it. That's when I knew something was terribly wrong. That night, I kept watch. As soon as I saw the ominous nun leading another child toward that same room, I hid nearby. The moment she opened the door, I tossed a paper to the opposite direction to distract her. As she investigated, I swiftly slipped into the room. It was pitch black, an overwhelming darkness that swallowed everything. I hid behind a wardrobe, barely breathing. She entered with a candle, but then, they vanished. It seemed the room was far larger than I'd imagined. I wandered, lost in the dark, until I stumbled over something. Feeling around, I found a flashlight and flicked it on. I was alone. The chill that crept down my spine was unbearable. Then, among scattered items, I found old photographs of nuns and an ID card belonging to the stunning Madame Aurora. Her beauty was striking, even in the photo. I smiled faintly, about to put it down, when I noticed something that made my blood run cold. Her date of birth, 1790. That meant she was 379 years old. I froze, unable to comprehend what I had just discovered. Suddenly, a sinister chuckle echoed through the room. My heart pounded furiously. Blood began flowing toward me from the shadows. What I saw next haunted me. The severed head of the creepy nun rolled slowly in my direction. I clasped my mouth, trembling uncontrollably, tears spilling from my eyes. Then, my flashlight died. Trapped in darkness, I braced for death. From the shadows, a figure approached. As it neared, I recognized her voice. Madame Aurora. Open your eyes, my dear, she cooed. I did. What I saw left me utterly traumatized. Madame Aurora now looked centuries old, deep wrinkles, bruised skin, and a gaping, grotesque mouth twisted into a chilling grin. Don't you like my true form, dear? She asked mockingly. Don't worry. I'll change right now. I stood, petrified, watching as she knelt beside the severed head and began to drink its blood. Moments later, she transformed, radiant and youthful once more, her black hair cascading like silk. In that instant, I understood the horrifying truth. For centuries, Aurora had consumed the blood of innocent orphans to sustain her beauty. I believed I was doomed. Though I had always been skeptical of religion, desperation overtook me. "O Lord, Almighty Creator," I whispered, "today I seek your protection against every evil spirit that roams this world." As the words left my lips, Aurora screamed in agony and clutched her head. I seized the moment and shoved her aside. I ran. Somehow, miraculously, I escaped. Before I fled the building, I glanced back. Aurora's monstrous eyes glared at me with seething fury. I ran into the night, not knowing where I was headed. To this day, I have no home. I live without shelter, sleeping wherever I can. But each night, I do so with one fear: Madame Aurora is still out there. And she's looking for me.